Hello, and welcome once again to In the Library with
Tara!
And last time I checked, I'm still Adrian.
Aww.
And today we have with us our special guest,
Wayne!
Wayne. And what is it you do, Wayne?
I am the director of the Bedford Veterans Center at 8020 Lewis Avenue. I started about 3 years ago, and the gentleman that started in 2017 had a great idea, and during the COVID years, it kind of fell apart. I come back in, and we started running it successfully. Nobody gets paid. Nobody gets any benefit from it, money-wise, except the veterans. The veterans are what we are mainly looking to help, and I don't know if you want me to go into what we do and all that right now, or...
Well, let's get to that right after you introduce. We have another special guest in here with us who listeners may be able to hear.
And this is Annie. Annie, my German Shepherd. She goes with me most every place. She's my staunch supporter.
She's so sweet.
She keeps me out of trouble.
He said her full name was Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
Like an Annie Get Your Gun.
That makes sense.
Which I like. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us more about the Veterans Center?
Okay, I can go into a lot of detail here. Like I said, we're on 8020 Lewis Avenue, and the phone number is 734-224-7032. The center started on Temperance Road in the old post office. We were forced to move out of there and into a building on Lewis Avenue that was pretty much dilapidated, but we got a lot of support from the community in order to get it up to standards that we could occupy it and start helping the veterans out of that building. Lately, we have just applied for a state grant, which we got, and the grant was only for bringing the building up to a higher standard, because the building did not have any insulation in it, with just brick walls. It didn't have a ceiling in it that would keep the heat in, and it actually, we got a $250,000 grant through the state, and just for the building, not for general expenses. I don't know if anybody has done that through the state, but you have to have everything in order. You must show everything that's being spent, what it's being spent for, where it's going, and any amount of money that is left over, you return to the grant. So we've got that all done, which has made it a lot nicer. We've got a couple more offices that we can have privacy in when we're doing service officer work for the veterans. And service officer work is basically getting them, if they have a disability from being in service, if they're having trouble maintaining a standard of life, we can get them a pension. We can do their burial benefits. We can help their wives after a death with a widow's pension or a DIC, which is given. It is another insurance policy that the VA has, and it's given to the widows of veterans that were 100% total and permanently disabled. Along with that 100% totally and permanently disabled, they get 100% tax relief on property tax, not assessments, but property tax. They get their license plates at a reduced rate. They get hunting licenses, fishing licenses, access to parks and things like that. But that's only 100% total and permanent disabled. And they have to be totally and permanent to get any of their benefits from that. But that's just one thing we do. We have service officers available every day of the week, Monday through Thursday, setting up. I believe today we're doing the food pantry, which we have 40 to 45, it fluctuates a little bit, families that we give food out to. And the community has been very, very generous. I mean, the community has just gotten behind us since I took over as director. And my volunteers, I can't say enough about my volunteers. They work, and they get the job done. So it's very important. I'm just a director. I lead meetings. I bring up a lot of topics, hopefully that we can go into, and raise funds so we can keep this operation going. Yes, sir.
If I could stop you for 1 second, can you tell us how many volunteers you have and how one goes about becoming a volunteer?
The volunteers, you can go right to the center and speak to Amanda, and she will get you set up. We have a little bit of training that you have to go through because you never know who's going to walk through the door. You never know what their problem is. You need to get used to our administrative standards and signing people up and things like that. But Amanda takes care of the volunteers, and we have approximately 30 volunteers right now. So what their main job is to help us on a fundraiser or to be in the office for 3-hour shifts and just greet the people when they come in and find out more or less why or what they are looking for, as far as benefits, as far as food pantry, disability counseling, and we also can help them with burial arrangements too. So.
And if someone doesn't have the time to volunteer, they could also help out with one of your fundraising events, right?
Yes.
I was looking online and it looks like in June you have a 5K that's coming up.
It's the second year that we've done this. The first year we were just a little skeptical, but it turned out better than what we could have imagined. We had so many people come out, and it was a 5K run and a 1 mile walk. And it just was amazing. It was amazing. Our volunteers did a great job, and but this year we've got a golf tournament in August, and that has been bringing a lot of people in, and a lot of people that are supporting the center. So we're trying to make a new reputation. No money goes out except for the vets. And that's what I keep stressing. We spend a lot of time as volunteers. We spend a lot of time on the board directors and things like that. Right now I'm trying to set up a business board that will be a sub-board of the directors board, so we can get businesses coming on board, and they've already made donations to the center. They see the benefit that we're giving these people, and we don't ask for anything back. You know, it's just, but we're trying to set up a board of businesses in Monroe County that will help to set a path of success. So we're really working on that and going ahead with it.
There was one thing you said on the phone that I really liked, and I wanted clarification for everyone listening. You had mentioned that you wanted to open up the vet center to more people, and so anyone who might need a meeting space, like maybe if they're with a group and the meeting space got canceled or they had difficulty, they could reach out to you and utilize your space. Is that only for vets, or is that for anybody in the community?
Anybody in the community that would need to. We just opened it up to the Young Marines training session last Saturday, and they were there most of the day, and they were just having training, and we don't ask for anything. We don't ask for anything rental or anything like that. And a lot of times people will donate money to the center for giving them a place to meet. But we don't ask for it. We actually try to discourage it because we want to be good partners to the community. So if you need a place to meet, or if you have a small project that you want to do, or even like we've got a euchre tournament that we've got going right now. We've got about 40 people that play euchre on a given day. So, and we've got quilting coming in, the ladies quilting things. And all you have to do is call the center, and we'll set you up on the date you want, and we'll have somebody there to open it. If we're not, we're only open Monday through Thursday from 10 to 4. But if you need a special weekend, we will have somebody there. I was there last Saturday for the Young Marines. So, I mean, we
wonderful.
have, yeah, and we don't ask for anything. It's just that we need to be good community outreach people. We do rides to Ann Arbor, and we have a van. Ann Arbor rides to the VA, not to private doctors, and we do rides to Toledo VA. And we'll actually, if they need to be picked up at their doorstep, we can do that too, in Monroe County. So the VA in Ann Arbor Hospital, in the VA clinic in Toledo, we service those. But we've got a van. When you go by the center, you can usually see it sitting out in front if it's not being used. So that's another benefit that we have. And like I was mentioning, the food pantry, it's ongoing. We usually give 2 to 3 bags of groceries out on the last Thursday of the month. And if you'd like to donate to that, just give the center a call, because we've got a lot of businesses in the schools, places like that, that are doing the football games. They do food collection, and they deliver it to our doorstep.
I have a question about that, because I feel like when people do food, when they donate, sometimes they're not always sure what they should and shouldn't donate. Is there anything that people try to donate that you'd say, please don't do that?
We have a wish list.
Oh, perfect.
We have a wish list that they can pick up exactly what we can take. You know, we take some frozen meat in turkeys and things like that around the holidays, but we don't have a storage spot. We have a small storage spot, and we have freezers, about 2 of them. But we can take that at certain times of the year. But we do have that wish list, and all you have to do is call the center, and we can either email it to you, or we can give it to you personally. We've got a list, our wish list that we know we can handle and the veterans need. So this is something that we know. We've been doing it for quite a while, so we know exactly what the veteran is using and what they need. A lot of canned foods, packaged foods. Sometimes we even get in, and we definitely watch the due dates on these things. So if they're out of date, then we have to discard them. So
I think that happens a lot. People just aren't paying attention. So yeah, if you're going to donate food, please pay attention to that, because that happens at all different sorts of organizations where they're given expired things. And it might be something that you're okay eating expired, like pasta, but still please look at that and only donate stuff that you would want someone to give to you. I think that's a big thing.
definitely.
And it's done out of the goodness of people's hearts. They just forget to check that.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. I mean, it's just sometimes they don't realize that there are dates on the food and the cans and everything else, used by a certain date.
So it sounds like you have a lot of different opportunities to help the people in this community. And this is probably an impossible question, but do you have like an estimate of how many veterans have come through your doors and have been able to benefit from your organization?
Actually, I just happen to have that here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, I just happen to have that here in our little flyer, which is available to anybody. And we've serviced almost 750 walkthroughs on our food pantry. And the veteran service officers, we've assisted over 200 veterans since we've been there. And those are the veterans that actually got something from the VA. Mm-hmm. We see a lot more people that have just regular questions that they're looking to find an answer for, or steering them in a direction that they can get help. So even if you're homeless vet, we can get them to the place that can take care of them. We used to have the Salvation Army in Monroe. That was a homeless shelter for the VA. That's no longer there. So we have to go through Ann Arbor, but we can call them and we can help people. Sometimes it's not a quick fix, but it is a fix. So, and if there's we're starting up another program because of the community support, we're able to. And that's the only thing that's allowing us to do this as a community support. And I keep going over and over that. But we thank the community. We want to make sure that they realize that they're the ones doing it. We're just issuing their money out to the veterans. So we're kind of administrating it, and we don't get any money for doing that either. So, but we got a new program set up that we're going to give short-term help to a veteran, say if they couldn't pay their light bill this last month because they got laid off for a couple weeks or 3 weeks. We are going to set up, and we're working on this right now, so we have an application and we have everything set up that we can actually assist them. And the money that we pay out on this will not have to be paid back. Of course, if it's going to electric bill, a gas bill, any other type of bill, we will pay the bill. We won't actually give any money to anybody.
Yeah.
So that's one of the stipends or points that we are trying to work on getting straightened out right now. But we've got other organizations that do the same thing, and the Michigan Trust Fund has an emergency account set up, and they're through Lansing. We can get you help for that, and it's an emergency. Of course, with all this, there's paperwork. Paperwork needs to be filled out. We need to check where our funds are going, where the state funds are going. The county of Monroe also has a Soldiers and Sailors Relief Fund that people can go to, and that is a one-time grant of money to help them out in a short term. I mean, if they're in a long-term problem, they're going to have to sit down with some type of a organization that's going to help them get their finances back in order. You know, we can't give out $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's just not going to happen.
But it's nice that you're there and you're able to step in and help with the short-term stuff.
That's
and if
what
like an
we're-
emergency comes up.
That's what we're working on right now.
Yeah.
So, due to the community and their gracious, generous giving, we're able to do that, and we want to make that available to the veterans. But we're also being very careful that it's going out to a worthwhile cause. The other thing is we've had over 80 transports, and we also at Christmas time and that we do adopt families that we actually buy gifts for the kids and we the family if they're on hard times. So, but we try to assist in every way we can. And like I said, my volunteers take care of all of these things. Every volunteer, every director has a certain program that they are in charge of. That way we all have some giving of our time to the Veterans Center.
Yeah. And it
and
helps
the
you
veterans.
not to get burnt out too, so that way you keep
Right.
wanting to be involved and have the capacity to.
And we need more volunteers because some of our volunteers, like me, are getting older, and you never know when our time's going to be up on. So we need more volunteers to get involved and active, and we don't ask a lot. We try to make it as easy as possible, give you as much help as we can, and but our board of directors. Everybody has a job to do. So we've got 9, and we carry, the director has to be a veteran, and we need 51% of the board veterans. So that does take in community board members also that haven't been veterans.
But that's nice because if you want to help out, even if you haven't served, I mean, there's still that opportunity
That's
to
right.
be able to help those who have. I love that. That's great.
We're trying to open it up to the community, and that's, and like I said again, and probably said 10 times already, the community is our lifeline. They are the ones that it's making possible that we do this over there. It's not us. It is the community and their gracious giving. So, and we are 501c3, so we do give a tax discount there, a tax write-off, and we do that for everybody if they want it. We've also got a program if somebody wants to donate stocks or bonds
Oh.
that are, well, if they've lost money on them or if they pass away, we can handle that. And we've got a company that we work with, and it's all set up, and we just have to make people aware of it. The other thing we're going to do is on the front of the building, we're going to do some blocks, bricks, and you can buy a brick for $150. We'll put it on the front of our wall, and it will actually have the veteran's name on it when he served, or if you want to just put your name on it as a supporter of the Bedford Veterans Center. So you don't even have to be a veteran to have a brick there. But a lot of people honor their deceased veterans, and it will stay on that wall as long as the building's there.
Yeah.
So
That's a great fundraising thing. We have something similar here at the library, and people love it.
Yeah. And it works. It works. I know there's other veterans organizations that do the same thing, and you don't. Well, it costs to get the brick made, and it costs this, and it costs for that, but it is a reminder of a loved one of the family. And everybody can see it when they walk by it. It's not something that's only visible for people that go through a cemetery or something like that. Yeah. So it's right out there in front. Next thing we're working on is a monument in Bedford Veterans Center for veterans. We have no monuments in Bedford Township to honor veterans. And it's going to be in front of the Bedford Veterans Township Hall. Bedford Township Hall, not the Bedford Veterans, but the Bedford Township Hall. And we're working on that right now. We're moving slowly on it. We just had a meeting Monday night, and we have a drawing, which is, I think it's going to be really great. It will stand out. It will make a statement. It will be in honor of those veterans who have served or lost their life in all of the conflicts that this country has been through. So we definitely are working on that. Of course, I mean, it's going to take money, as everything does, but we're trying to make that as inexpensive as we can, which in today's world, I don't know if that's going to be so inexpensive. But it will be something that'll last and be there in for centuries, hopefully. Along with the township, Al Pryor, we're working with him. He's on the committee, and we've got a lot of veterans on the committee. We got Senior Master Sergeant, Air Force, Eshkoff, and he's going over to the sandbox right now, but he's the one that brought it to our attention that we needed something to honor the Bedford Township veterans. And that's exactly what started it off, and we're working on it right now. We've got an architect, and some of us been through these monument plans and making monuments available to the community. It is an honor to be able to do this. And I think all of our committee members feel the same way. They're dedicated. They're not doing it for any great heroics or any. They don't want anything out of it for themselves. We're just doing it for the community and making it available that they have that. The other things. Anybody got any questions? Well, anyway, let's get on a lighter side here. We've got the golf outing coming up, and you can sign up for that. All you got to do is get a hold of the Bedford Vet Center, and we have applications for that. We've got the 5K coming up. You can go ahead and get the application online at our website and Facebook. So we have a lot of outlets for information. We're also doing a mailing here very shortly. We're kind of looking into that we can get it into every household, that we have these benefits available for veterans. And even non-veterans, if they want to use our facility. Of course, we have a certain amount of people that we can get in there, because unfortunately it's not that big. But 30 people, we we can do that. We've also had in the past, we've had the fire department come in and give us training on CPRs and fire extinguisher use and things like that. And we're having a de-escalation training coming in for our veterans, not our veterans, but our volunteers here April 1st, actually. And we're going to go ahead and do that. So if somebody comes through the door and they're a little irate, we've got to know how to deal with them. Mm-hmm. You can't just say, oh, okay, well, talk to them. Sometimes that doesn't always work. But we get a very minimal amount of people coming through our doors that are irate. They're all very well mannered. Mm-hmm. So, and if they don't, my girlfriend's there. So, right, Annie?
Speaking of the veterans who come through your door, I'm guessing most of them are Vietnam and later era. Have you had anyone come through your door who was maybe in the Civil War or earlier?
Not alive.
That wasn't a no.
Well, we do. Every once in a while we'll get a Korean veteran, but they're getting up there in age, and the VA has opened up the doors to all remaining World War II veterans that are still breathing, and they can get free medical through the VA for World War II veterans.
He said only if they're still breathing. So if you stop breathing, I'm sorry, but go haunt somewhere else.
Yeah, we can't do too much for the ones that are back that far. If they're not, if they're breathing, yeah, we can help them. It's no problem. But, if they can walk in, we can help them. We don't have any certain people we help and certain people we don't help. Yeah. Every veteran can come through the door and we'll give them assistance if they qualify. So,
well, sticking with the lighter theme and talking about everyone we can help, this week we did have 2 different books that we were reading on the topic of veterans. And so Melinda Hardin actually wrote 2 children's books. One is called Hero Dad and one is called Hero Mom. So we read those this week, and curious what you both thought of the stories. I personally really liked them. I thought this was a great way to introduce the idea of the military and soldier parents, especially to families who don't have that as their norm.
I think we need more books like that, that the young people can read and actually realize that a lot of the people in our community are actually service people. Mm-hmm. We've got the Air Force fighter unit out here at the airport, which there's a lot of people from Toledo and surrounding communities that belong to that. Mm-hmm. And they've been deployed on active duty quite a bit. So they're serving their country, and a lot of and the kids need to know that. They need to understand that there's still, even though we don't have a war right now going on, there's still deployment from their community to a lot of different places around the world.
Well, I thought Hero Mom did, so I liked that these books were very different. And with Hero Mom, it kind of talked about all the different types of jobs that someone can do when they're in the service, and like jobs that you would typically think about parents doing here. So like there was a doctor, there's someone who's like leading like a teacher. So I thought this was a good connection to show, like, kind of make kids realize that the people around them in everyday jobs could be people who have served or are serving.
And the service is just like everyday jobs. Doctors, like you said, mm-hmm. and I know of a doctor in Monroe that is in the reserves, and he's a dentist, and he goes in every once in a while. Great guy. And our hearing doctor, too, and there's another one up there, it's a hearing doctor, and he is in the reserves. But the service it's a community in its own. It's a community in its own. They have hospitals, they have doctors, they've got nurses, they've got maintenance people for vehicles, they've got maintenance people for lawns and landscaping, and they've got, of course, you've got the usual combat support teams. Not everybody in the service shoots a gun. There are a lot of support troops out there that it takes to make this whole machine run. I was in nuclear firearms myself, nuclear weapons when I was in, and I didn't shoot a gun, but I worked on over nuclear weapons. So it's a lot of different job descriptions.
I appreciate the service personnel who treat like the MP German Shepherds and like the horses that they get deployed in the Middle East, because they are veterinarians.
I like that.
Yeah, and there's since I was in during 67 to 71, there's a lot of things that have been developed in the service that have grown into very important jobs, not necessarily shooting a gun or launching a grenade or, they have jobs that are very essential to the mission.
I will just say, when I read these books, I've never served in the military, but my father was, he started in motor pool and he transferred to Apache pilot, and he got deployed to Kuwait during both Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And reading those books made me recall, like, I was so concerned for him, like, he's going to be up there flying his helicopter, shooting his stuff. And we got a letter from him after he'd been deployed about a month. And he's like, they're keeping us in the back. I've been swimming every day. Life's great. It's like, thanks, Dad.
Well, there are a lot of good stories.
Yeah.
They're not all traumatic.
But that had to make you feel better as a kid because you're so worried. And
It did make me feel better, but at the same time, I was also very like, of course you are, Dad. Of course.
Well, no comment.
yeah, I really like these books because they're called Hero Mom and Hero Dad, and it's supposed to be like, my parent isn't a superhero, but they are. So it's kind of like real life superheroes. And that's what I took from it.
I said it's not all combat troops. I mean, everybody has a job to do, and everybody's supporting the mission, and we can't leave those support troops out either. They did their time. They did their job. And they did a good job, and they supported. You get people in submarines, people in aircraft carriers, people in the Navy, people in the Air Force that were support people. They were just supporting everything that was going on in a battle zone. So they have to be very aware, they have to be alert, they have to be very good at their job. The service does not take failures well if they're doing your job. You've got to be very efficient at doing your job. So the service is not a bad job. It's not bad at all. It's just like living in a home with previous veterans. That's what I did. My stepfather he was in the Army and he was in the Navy. And when I was at home growing up, we led a military life, basically.
Excuse my ignorance. You can be in multiple branches?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Not at the same time.
Yeah, but so when your time is done with one, you can enroll in another?
Yeah.
Is that fairly common?
It's not that common, but it's being done. You hear more of it because they might start out as a Marine and they don't feel like they want to sleep in a tent in the mud no more. So they go to the Air Force, and then we have room service.
Yeah.
And, good food. And
From my understanding, a lot of the service transfer depends on what your ultimate career trajectory is.
Okay.
Yes.
I know just because like I said, my dad was a pilot in the Army, and there was the occasional, just from what he would tell us, some of the service members would go to a different branch because they wanted to fly a specific craft, or they wanted a different, that sort of assignment.
I guess I knew that like some people could, but I guess I didn't realize it was somewhat common or an option for.
Well, the service that's taking these people, I mean, if they don't have a need for them, they're undoubtedly not going to take them. Career field has to fit into the service that they're going to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think she's getting all riled up because she knows my next book that I found is about a dog.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to read this, Annie?
What's that? Whoa.
I actually found this one today, and I just grabbed it because you were bringing your dog, and I just thought this was really cute. It's Tuesday Tucks Me In, and it's about a disabled vet, and this is his service animal. And it's a junior biography book, but it's a very easy read, and it has real life pictures of the two of them going about their life, and it's really sweet. So if you have a little bit of an older child who's curious about disabled vets or service animals, I think this is a great book to choose. It's Tuesday Tucks Me In, The Loyal Bond Between a Soldier and His Service Dog by Luis Carlos, I'm going to mispronounce his last name, Montalvan, and he was a captain.
Let me see.
You're probably going to pronounce it correctly.
There are a lot of veterans that do have service dogs, but they need to be trained service dogs.
Yes.
And the amount of service dogs and the jobs that they are trained for are amazing. Every dog can be trained for a separate job to be aware of what's going on with their veteran. I've seen some that are just amazing.
There's some advances in the world that I'm really proud of and really excited about, and that's one of them. Having service animals, whether it's a dog or another animal, being able to physically help somebody who has a disability live their lives to the fullest.
And even in Monroe, we've got a lady that does companion dogs, and there's another group in Monroe Monroe County that will actually train a service dog for the veteran. So,
That's
but the
wonderful.
veteran has to be with that dog,
Yeah.
you know, and able to, and learn, and have the dog learn how to work with the new owner.
And understand the commands and
Yes.
get comfortable, yeah.
Yes.
It's-
Because even my dog, she's not a service dog, but she is my companion, and she kind of, if there's a little stress or a little strain, or you know, she goes up to people in the office and she'll let them pet her and you know, kind of take the strain and stress off. Because there's one thing about this job, being a service officer, you hear a lot of things, and sometimes when a veteran comes in, they actually will break down. They tell you things, and of course we don't go any farther with it. Everything stays at the Bedford Veterans Center. So, but yeah, and the dog really does help. She knows how to comfort people.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you today for having me. I appreciate it. I'd like to get this information out about veterans.
Well, we appreciate having you. We do need to change gears very quickly. We're going to talk about a few things going on at the Bedford Branch and Ellis Library Reference Centers are pleased to present Birdwatching versus Birding, Saturday, April 26, 2025 from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Bedford Branch Library, and Sunday, April 26, 2025 from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Ellis Library and Reference Center. Greg Bodeker's beautiful photography will help you learn more about birds as he demonstrates the joys of birding. Never mind that. Novice and aspiring birders will especially benefit from the program.
Also coming up at the Bedford Branch Library is An Evening with Shakespeare. This will take place on Friday, April 11th at 7 p.m. Come see your favorite podcaster play Olivia. We unfortunately lost an actor, so I've been booted up from Sebastian to Olivia. So we are doing a staged reading. It's going to be really fun. We're doing 12th night. There's going to be snacks and tea afterwards, but we are celebrating Shakespeare's 461st birthday. Come on out.
The Petersburg and Bedford branch libraries are pleased to present K-Pop Club. Stop in and meet and spend time with other K-pop fans. Petersburg branch library will be March. These may actually be going on at both on the same days. I'm unclear on that. Do be sure to check out our online calendar. But the Petersburg branch and the Bedford branch are having them on March 20th, which is past. They'll be coming up on April 25th, May 15th, and June 6th. Check out our online website, grab a flyer, scan the QR code, find out more.
And our favorite Bedford Library sisters are the ones putting it on. So come check them out. They're pretty awesome.
One last thing for me, if you are interested in a murder mystery night, there are still a few spaces available in the upcoming April 5th event. So if you want to come out and have a night of murder mystery, register at the front desk of the Bedford Branch Library.
So I'm doing the first one. Do I get to die?
Time will tell.
I could have a really dramatic death. Way over the top.
Time will tell. We would like to thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions about anything we've mentioned here, please be sure to check out the library's website at mymcls.com. If you're checking us out on YouTube, be sure to hit the ring bell, like, and subscribe for notifications. If you're not listening to us on YouTube, maybe you're listening to us on Spotify, be sure to give us a heart or whatever it is they use on Spotify.
Follow our group on Spotify. It'll help with the algorithm, and more people will follow us. So you can like the individual episodes, but please follow the podcast itself.
And last but not least, do be sure to check out the Bedford Veterans Center website, bedfordtwpvets.com. You can also check them out on Facebook, and I'm sure there's a link between the two.
Yes, there is.
For In the Library, this has been
Tara!
And I remain Adrian, and our special guest,
Wayne.
Wayne.
From the Bedford Vet Center.
Thank you for joining us today, Wayne.
Thank you.